All right. So, as Nick just said, it's story time, or at least it's story time for me. I want to try this again because there's nobody on the board anymore, so I figured I'd try and read a story to you guys. I wrote this around 1999. All right, so it's about 26 years old. I found it recently and I want to try and get it published. I never tried to get it published when I read it originally, but this is called To Nadine with Love. All right, so I wrote this many years ago. I was a little bit younger then, but cool. To Nadine with Love. Nadine was really nothing like the other girls. That's probably why they didn't really like her. Sure, she looked better than most of them, to me at least. She was much smarter than the rest. She wasn't concerned with petty girl crap. That isn't why they hated her. Nadine was my imaginary girlfriend. I'm not too sure when I first met Nadine, or if I ever actually did. One day, she was just there, where she hadn't been before. We hit it off right away. She was a perfect girl for me. Then again, what would you expect? I did make her up. S was the first girl who hated Nadine with a passion. She told me at one point, in rather vulgar language, she wanted to kill Nadine. Imagine that, being that upset and jealous over a silly little imaginary girlfriend. She never got used to the idea of me having an imaginary girlfriend. Nadine never minded my real girlfriends. They were always from this realm. Frankly, there was no comparison. Earth girls are so petty. I mean, if I wanted to have an imaginary girlfriend, how is that going to affect you? She doesn't eat your food. She never interrupts you. She never takes up any of your quality time. In fact, you would never know she was around unless I tell you she was around. S put up with me and Nadine for 2 years. She decided to go out and get a new boyfriend, a real one. But that is so different. I mean, he's from the same realm as me. He, to me, is competition. But what was I to do? If only she had broken up with me first. It would have gone much better. If only she hadn't been living in my house, it would have been so much easier. But that's behind me now. After the whole ordeal, and S and me trying to kill each other and ourselves and everything in between, I said it was time to move on. Not from Nadine, but in this realm. Difficulties arise from having only an imaginary girlfriend. I mean, nothing against Nadine, but imaginary girls do have limitations. For instance, you can't really kiss an imaginary girlfriend. No intimacy at all, in fact. I started feeling lonely about 3 months of nothing but Nadine. Things weren't bad between us, but without having a real girlfriend, there were limits to Without a real girl there to limit my and Nadine's time together, things got old fast. I guess the problem lay in my inability to approach girls. I was afraid. What would they think of me, of Nadine? Would they be jealous like everyone else? Nadine began to seem more like a hindrance than a blessing. So I tried to talk to her about it. She didn't listen. She said I was jealous of her because she was inconceivably perfect in every way, except for being imaginary, as I've just discussed. I thought I was trapped in this imaginary relationship forever. Then one day, as I sat down for my quiet dinner with Nadine, got an idea. What if I found her somebody else? Maybe even an imaginary boyfriend. I decided to take out an ad in the local newspaper. Personal section. Wanted. Imaginary boyfriend to distract troublesome imaginary girlfriend permanently. Please call if you can help in this situation. Willing to pay top dollar. Nobody ever answered the ad. I guess there's just not enough compassion in this world. Nobody cares about the desperate man and his imaginary girlfriend. Nobody wants to know anything anymore. I am alone. It was soon after the ad was placed that I met a girl named Sophie. She was great. We spent hours, days, just talking about nothing, walking around town, escaping our problems together. Best of all, Sophie was real. She was someone I could relate to. She knew my thoughts half the time. She taught me things I never knew before. She helped me forget about Nadine. I got home late one Wednesday night. I've been out with Sophie, just walking around the bookstore in the next town over. She said she would come over with me that night. I was excited. When I unlocked the front door and walked into the apartment, I couldn't believe my eyes. Nadine on the couch with some other guy. Sophie couldn't see either of them. She sat down right on top of the indecent scene. When she looked up at my eyes, she must have seen the horror I felt. She asked me what was wrong. I couldn't answer. I froze. For the first time, I was jealous of Nadine's imaginary boyfriend. I ran into my bedroom to consider what I had presently thrust myself into. Sophie ran after me, thinking she had done something to offend me, unaware of the tragedy she had sat herself on top of. She was crying, scared of my attitude. I didn't want her to know about my secret imaginary life, so I lied. I told her I had just realized something I had forgot to do, that everything was all right now, that I just needed to relax for a little while in my bed. I woke up the next morning alone. Sophie left a note beside my bed. Simon, sorry about last night. I didn't understand what was wrong. After you fell asleep, I figured I should just leave. Give me a call whenever you wake up. Sophie. I knew I needed to tell Sophie the truth about Nadine. I decided to get something to eat before calling her to explain my problem. I rolled out of bed and found enough energy to move on 2 feet. Stumbling into the living room, I found Nadine, sitting on the couch, looking at me. There's something I need to talk to you about. I had no idea what she would need to talk to me about, looking so serious. She looked ready to cry as she started explaining. I met this great imaginary guy. We were pretty serious. Something clicked in my head. The pressure is slowly releasing from my entire body. She continued, stuttering a bit. I can't see you anymore. Are you sure? I was trying to hold back my joy. I had felt guilty about the way my desires had changed. She had felt the same way. It's over. Goodbye. She disappeared, blowing me a kiss. To Nadine with love. Thanks. That was awkward.